President Trump touches down in UK plus Conservative MP in Canada blasts Liberal justice failures. In a historic moment, President Donald Trump touched down in the United Kingdom for his second state visit, accompanied by First Lady Melania Trump. The royal welcome at Windsor Castle included a grand carriage procession, military honors, and a lavish state banquet hosted by King Charles III and Queen Camilla. Crowds lined the streets to witness the spectacle, while security was heightened across London. This visit is widely seen as a signal of deepening diplomatic and economic ties between the US and the UK, emphasizing collaboration on trade, defense, and international leadership priorities. During his visit, the US and the UK announced a $42 billion tech prosperity deal aimed at advancing artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and civil nuclear energy. Several major American tech companies pledged investments to help strengthen the UK's technology sector. The agreement is being viewed as a transformative moment for transatlantic cooperation, fostering innovation, job creation, and economic growth. Analysts say the deal will help both nations compete globally in high-tech industries while demonstrating shared strategic priorities in technology and defense sectors. The arrival of President Trump in the UK generated a mix of excitement and protest. Supporters celebrated the visit as a milestone for US-UK relations, while critics staged demonstrations in London and Windsor. Protesters voiced concerns about Trump's domestic policies, climate positions, and international conduct. The contrasting reactions reflect the deeply polarized public opinion surrounding Trump's leadership style and policy record. The visit illustrates the challenge of balancing international diplomacy with public sentiment, as leaders attempt to project strength while addressing domestic scrutiny. Meanwhile, in Canada, Prime Minister Mark Carney's government is facing growing scrutiny over its handling of justice, immigration, and economic issues. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre has openly criticized Carney's administration, highlighting rising costs of living, crime concerns, and perceived government inefficiency. These criticisms resonate with voters who feel that key issues are being mishandled. Analysts suggest that public dissatisfaction is mounting, and the government's inability to address pressing national concerns effectively could become a central topic in the upcoming federal election, scheduled for April 28, 2025. Justice and law enforcement have become central points of debate in Canadian politics. MP Michelle Rempel-Garner criticized the Liberal government for failing to update immigration numbers, calling it a lack of transparency and accountability. Her statements drew national attention and reinforced concerns over government mismanagement. Supporters of Rempel argue that citizens need clear, timely information on critical issues such as immigration and public safety, while critics of the government claim that these failures undermine public trust and weaken confidence in Canada's judicial and bureaucratic systems. Further criticism has come from MP Shannon Stubbs, who has placed responsibility for the ongoing agricultural crisis, including challenges in the canola sector, on government inaction. Stubbs emphasized the devastating impact of these policies on farm families and rural communities, particularly in Saskatchewan. She argued that insufficient support has left many struggling to remain financially viable. Her remarks highlight broader concerns regarding rural neglect and government oversight, framing the debate as one where the Liberal administration is failing to respond effectively to the needs of its constituents. The Conservative Party is leveraging these criticisms to highlight what they describe as a broader pattern of government ineffectiveness. Critics argue that the Liberal government's policies have undermined economic stability, weakened public safety measures, and created challenges for Canadians on the international stage. Party leaders emphasize that stronger governance, more accountability, and policy reforms are needed to restore public confidence. This messaging is resonating with voters who feel disenfranchised or frustrated by current political outcomes, and it is increasingly shaping media coverage and public debate. With the April 28, 2025 federal election approaching, Canada's political environment is becoming increasingly charged. Voters are assessing leaders' records on crime, economic performance, and governance. Analysts predict that the election could significantly reshape Canada's political landscape, potentially shifting power between parties. Public discourse is intensifying, with both parties attempting to mobilize supporters while appealing to undecided voters. The outcome will determine policy direction for years to come, particularly in areas like economic recovery, public safety, and immigration. President Trump's visit to the UK is also seen as part of a strategy to bolster U.S. influence abroad. The tech prosperity deal exemplifies the administration's focus on economic innovation and technological advancement. Analysts suggest that this visit reinforces the U.S.'s commitment to global partnerships while also highlighting domestic priorities such as job creation and industrial competitiveness. By promoting bilateral cooperation, the administration hopes to strengthen ties with key allies and solidify the U.S.'s position as a global technology and economic leader. Public reaction to President Trump's visit reflects the complexities of his presidency. While some praise his diplomatic efforts and the strengthening of U.S.-UK ties, others express concerns about his policy approach and rhetoric. These divergent reactions illustrate the challenge of reconciling international diplomacy with domestic and global perceptions of leadership. Experts argue that Trump's visit may have long-term implications for U.S. relations in Europe and set a precedent for future state visits, balancing both ceremonial and strategic objectives in a highly scrutinized global environment. Developments in both Canada and the United States highlight the interconnectedness of domestic and international politics. Leadership decisions, policy outcomes, and public opinion in one country often influence perceptions and negotiations abroad. Both nations are navigating complex economic and political landscapes where diplomatic relationships, trade agreements, and domestic governance intersect. Observers note that the outcomes of these decisions will have wide-reaching effects on North America's role in global affairs, from technology to trade, justice, and defense priorities. As events continue to unfold, the choices made by leaders in Canada and the U.S. will carry lasting consequences. President Trump's state visit may strengthen U.S.-UK relations and promote technological innovation, while criticism from conservative MPs in Canada could sway public opinion and influence electoral results. The coming months will be decisive for leadership trajectories, policy reforms, and international diplomacy. Both nations face the challenge of balancing public expectations, international obligations, and strategic priorities in a rapidly changing global environment.